We're the Fabulous Baker Brothers.
Pure indulgence.
And if there's one thing that drives us mad, it's the fact that British food gets a really bad rap. In this nation, we have such amazing food, such passionate food producers, and that's what we need to prove.
That's what this whole road trip's about.
My name's Henry. I'm a butcher and a chef.
And I'm Henry's older brother Tom. I'm a 5th generation baker. Our family business has always used Britain's finest produce.
So we know there's great British food out there.
Right, let's do it.
Right.
To set the record straight, this series, we're travelling to 6 of our favourite food destinations. So here we are. Hey! To meet the people who are flying the flag for great British grub.
Ah, look.
Oh!
I like my food hot.
Along the way, we get stuck in
Oh, that's so good, isn't it?
farming, fishing, and foraging.
Yes!
Give that a little shake.
In each place, we'll create 5 unique recipes outdoors.
It's such a privilege to be in this beautiful location, cooking with all this fresh produce.
Inspired by the region's fantastic ingredients. And all served up at a final feast. Delicious.
Let's get going.
Bring gear. Is this not the most beautiful countryside you have ever seen?
This is absolutely stunning.
To show the best that Britain has to offer, we're heading to Bakewell, a hidden gem right in the heart of the Peak District in Derbyshire. It's one of the most popular national parks in the world.
Really? This really is. You know, it's England at its finest.
This is very much Jane Austen country. This is where Pride and Prejudice was filmed.
Really?
Yep, Keira Knightley spent a lot of time here.
Ooh.
Steady, Henry. We're not here to go star spotting. We're on the hunt for fabulous food. This place is home to award-winning beers with weird and wonderful flavours.
Did you get that? I got that bang on right. Peanut butter.
Chocolate to rival the finest in the world.
A Bakewell bomb, isn't it?
And a rare and exotic British herd. Yeah, 4 of them.
Oh, the house is massive.
Inspired by all the gorgeous local grub, we'll come up with 5 brand new dishes. And we'll serve them all at a feast at the end of the week, right here at one of Derbyshire's most famous locations, Chatsworth House. How about this?
Look at that. Beautiful.
Right, let's go and find some amazing produce.
Yeah, make some tasty food.
To find our first culinary gem, we're heading into the heart of Bakewell.
It's lovely, isn't it? What a gorgeous place.
Funnily enough, this town's name has got nothing to do with baking. Bakewell actually means Baedeker's Well, after an Anglo-Saxon chieftain. Nevertheless, Bakewell's baked goods are what it's known for today. So, Henry, this is Bakewell, home of the famous Bakewell
Tart.
pudding.
Pudding?
Yeah.
What do you mean pudding? I never heard of the Bakewell pudding. Oh, yeah, pudding. Pudding parlour. So you're telling me they let the world have the tart and kept the pudding for themselves?
Well, the pudding is something the world needs to know about.
Are you going to take me somewhere where we can try it?
If you're good, yes.
Well, I've been very good. I've not moaned once all journey.
That has got to be them, hasn't it?
Yeah, I reckon.
Ah, original Bakewell pudding since 1865. Apparently, this was the first ever shop to sell the Bakewell pudding. There they are.
Well, that's got to be the Bakewell tart. I've seen one of them before.
It is, and that must be the pudding. Am I
It
not wrong?
is, that's correct.
I'm Tom.
Welcome to the pudding shop. Okay, so this is your Bakewell tart,
Oh, let me add it.
and this, gentleman, is your Bakewell pudding.
The Bakewell tart is dead famous, but it's the flavour of the lesser-known pudding we're here to discover.
They're not very different, don't they?
Totally different, yeah.
It's almost like a kind of battery.
It's like an eggy custard texture.
Amazing.
I'm surprised this isn't more popular outside
Let me
of
have
Bakewell.
another bite.
Yeah.
So the question is, which came first,
The tart or the pud?
Well, for us, the Bakewell pudding, and we've been making them since the 1860s.
And it hasn't really left the town, has it?
No.
So I've never heard of that, but that is so good.
The main difference is the puff pastry.
It's a puff pastry, always strawberry jam.
Yeah.
But the similarities between the two is that they've always got almonds in them.
Yes, a ground almond in it.
Well, thank you very much for these puddings.
Thank
that was
you.
brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much. Good luck.
Inspirational.
Now we've got our motivation, all we need is a place to cook. Since the weather's taken a turn for the worse, Bakewell's cricket pavilion and a camping gas hob should do the trick.
We're going to take the key ingredient of this town's magnificent pud, ground almonds, and use it to create a sweet and savoury starter for our feast.
We're making sweetmeat parcels, a juicy meat and almond mixture wrapped in crispy phyllo pastry. De-flippin'-licious.
So I got myself this beautiful guinea fowl. Guinea fowl is great. It's got a lovely, rich, gamey flavour.
If you can't get guinea fowl, chicken will do just fine.
So I got some rapeseed oil, good couple of tablespoons, and then we're just going to go with our guinea fowl, skin side down. Now that is the sound you want, that lovely kind of crispy, searing sound. That's going to render the fat down, give us all those lovely crispy bits. Bit of salt in the bottom.
And while the meat's browning, just going to roughly chop 1 red onion and 2 cloves of garlic. Give them a squash, that'll make it much easier. And they are ready for the pan.
And now the reason why I'm cooking it on the bone is that you get a lovely sauce and stock coming naturally from the bones as you cook it, but also helps to keep the meat really nice and moist and juicy, which is what we want. Key thing to remember here, it's not cooked, but it's browned off. We're going to cook that again later, so don't worry.
Ready for the onion and garlic.
Beautiful. We just want to sweat that off for a couple of minutes, pick up all those lovely crispy bits from the bottom.
Now to give it even more flavour, some cinnamon, 400 ml of chicken stock, a tablespoon of fruity pomegranate molasses.
All around the world, people are eating meat with sweetness and with fruit, and we need to do it more, don't we?
We should definitely do it more. So I've just put the guinea fowl back into the sauce, like little alligators just nestled in.
But before that stews away, I'm going to bejewel this sauce with these wonderful medjool dates. It's really worth going out of your way to get the best ones. These are going to add a bit more sweetness and a real lovely texture as they soften in the sauce.
After simmering for 30 minutes on a low heat, allow the dish to cool. Then pick that beautifully tender meat off the bone. It should just fall away. While you're doing that, get your sauce back on the hob and reduce by 1/4. Now to infuse our dish with that taste of Bakewell, it's time for those ground almonds.
So I'm just going to go 5 tablespoons, and that's just going to give it a lovely nuttiness and also help thicken up the sauce.
In with the meat.
Yeah, in with the meat, perfect. So this becomes quite kind of thick and paste-like, but that is absolutely perfect. Look at that.
Still see the dates?
Still see the dates.
We're going to use phyllo pastry to make little parcels that we'll deep fry. They'll be crunchy, sweet on the outside, and delicious, juicy meat on the inside. Shop-bought phyllo works perfectly to create these packages of meaty joy.
Now, just to make sure your oil's nice and hot, little tip, pinch of ground almonds. If they start bubbling and sizzling, you know it's ready. Now, very carefully lay them in there. Gorgeous. Now, these are going to take maybe 2-3 minutes. We just want to get it really crispy on the outside, nice and golden. And there's the last one. Look at them. They look absolutely beautiful.
To make them even more irresistible, lightly dust with icing sugar, mix with a dash of cinnamon, and sprinkle on ruby red pomegranate seeds.
They look pretty good, don't they?
How about this?
That, I think, is a nice modern taste of Bakewell.
And a great starter for our feast.
Oh.
Next, we helped create a brilliant British brew. Beer.
Cook up a boozy pizza in an English country garden.
Wow.
That is so good.
And get a crash course in chocolate making from a king of British confectionery. Would you call yourself the Peak District godfather of handmade chocolate?
Godfather, yeah, maybe.
Beer, pizza, and chocolate. This place is heaven on earth.
What could be better?
We're the Fabulous Baker Brothers, and we're crisscrossing the country in search of the best produce Britain has to offer.
Absolutely love it.
This time we're in Bakewell in the stunning Peak District, and our challenge is to come up with 5 new dishes made from gorgeous local ingredients.
That is a nice modern taste of Bakewell.
We've already nailed one recipe, but now we need inspiration for the next. And I reckon I know just the place to get our creative juices flowing.
There we go.
Driving you to drink.
Yes, you are driving me to drink. But...
No, I'm driving you to a brewery.
The brewery?
Yeah.
Cool.
Who's your favourite big brother?
You're my favourite brother.
Britain is currently in the grip of a brewing revolution. Small breweries have sprung up all over the country, and they're creating an incredible range of craft beers. I'm taking Henry to a beer maker, right in the heart of Bakewell. This place has won loads of awards for its specialist brews. One of the men bringing beer to Bakewell is Rob Lovett. Smells good, doesn't it?
Hey,
guys.
Rob, Tom, good to meet you.
Good to see you. Nice
Good
to
to
meet
see
you.
you. Come on, guys, I've got lots to show you.
Perfect.
All good beer starts with great ingredients.
What we've got here really for you guys to look at is some malts. So it's our white malt, so this is where we get all our sugar from.
Malt is basically barley that's been steeped in water and dried.
It's slightly sweet, isn't it?
And it is sweet, because when the malting process breaks down those complex starches into sugars that the yeast can then use to make alcohol.
That's delicious.
Yeah. And there's the chocolate malt. So that gives us colour, so for like example a porter or a stout, that's where we'd use that malt.
And is that just a darker roast to this one?
Yeah,
or?
exactly. They wouldn't get any sugar from that because it's too roasted.
isn't it? Yeah, coffee
yeah.
beans.
Yeah. One we've got here is hops.
Go on, Henry, have a bite of that.
Just put them in your hands like that and rub them. So on the rub,
Well, it's kind of sticky, isn't it?
yeah.
Oh, it smells like... It's that smell we got when we came in.
Yeah, so it's very citrusy.
The smell of a
Yeah, it's
brewery.
really citrus, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's hops that give beer its bitter, tangy flavour. They also act as a natural preservative.
We're going to help Rob add them to today's brew.
We need to put it all into this hop bag. In here. Yeah, all of it.
Ooh, look at that.
A long way down.
Broken up, Thomas. Hey, what are you doing? That's cheating.
Is it?
That's absolutely cheating. You're not allowed to do that.
Hops have been grown in Britain since the 16th century. Before that, brewers used a variety of bitter herbs and plants, ranging from dandelions to heather.
Wait.
Hold on.
Beautiful.
Beer.
Do you want the lid down? Yeah, that'll be great. Thanks.
Now it's time for my favourite bit, tasting the produce.
Okay, boys. First beer's Jaipur.
Nice.
It's the one we've been brewing today.
I've got to drive, so a sip is fine for me.
Nice big one for me. I'm a growing lad.
Beautiful colour.
There you go.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
So what you're getting on the nose is lots of citrus, some honey,
Oh, that's really
really
refreshing.
fresh, zingy. Just makes you want to have another one, which is, the skill of a brewer.
And another one.
Those hops have worked their magic, but it doesn't stop there. Creative British brewers like Rob also use weird and wonderful ingredients to come up with new and exciting flavours.
Now we're going to taste some of our more esoteric beers.
Okay.
See if you can recognise some of the flavours in here.
It's like a good gravy.
It's really
Oh,
nutty
oh,
smell.
yeah,
really
yeah,
nutty.
Nuts, that's good. Honey, that's good. Because, the main thing, this is another big beer that we fermented, and at the end of fermentation, we had chestnut honey from Italy. But this honey is really distinctive. And what it is it's the bees have fed on the chestnut flowers, and they really imparts this chestnut flavour into the honey, and then into the beer.
This looks ominous.
This has come straight from the tank. We haven't actually produced this yet.
It smells like kind of peanuts.
Bang on, yeah.
Is it?
This is a peanut butter brown ale that we've made.
Did you get that? I got that bang on right. Peanut butter. Oh, that's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
That takes me back to my childhood. That with the dollop of jam inside. Bingo. That's delicious. Thank you.
These guys are now producing so much beer they've expanded to more than one site.
And to inspire our next dish, we're heading to their original brewery based at the 12th century Thornbridge Hall.
We're going to make something you'd think of as Italian, but we'll put a British Baker Brothers twist to it, adding beer and ingredients from the brewery's well-stocked kitchen garden. Pizza and beer, classic combination. Let's see
Absolutely.
how much beer we can get into this pizza, eh?
Brewer's Garden pizza.
It starts with the dough. I'm going to use this multi-award-winning Jaipur beer. So I'm just going to stick a little bit in here and add to that 2 teaspoons of dried yeast. With the beer and the yeast mixed together, that really ought to see that this dough rises. Beer and yeast mixture goes into a bowl with 500 grams of strong white flour and a large pinch of salt. Next, add a good glug of rapeseed oil for a nutty flavour and a big hit of beer, over half a bottle. Give it a good old mix. When the dough starts coming together and you've got this kind of raggedy dough, you can tip it out and start kneading. As I'm kneading the dough, I can really smell that beer. It's really wonderful. It's kind of fruity and hoppy, and let's just make this into a nice round ball. Back into the bowl. And then, to make sure that the dough doesn't dry out, got this from the hotel we're staying in. The dough needs to be left to rise until it's doubled in size, which gives Henry plenty of time to make the pizza topping.
I'm not putting my board in that mess.
Oh, you won't have to.
God, you bakers. Always the same, aren't you? Right, now for the base layer of our pizza. So we're just going to sweat down some onions. So a nice glug of rapeseed oil. And then I've got 1 large onion here, which we're just going to cook down. It's the sound we want, nice bit of sizzle. Right, because we're in such a beautiful garden, I picked this Swiss chard, which is absolutely fabulous. Now, the thing with Swiss chard, you've got this lovely kind of soft spinach-like leaf, but then the stem is delicious also, but it's a bit tougher. And what we're going to do is I'm going to cook the stems in little slices in with the onions, and they'll tenderize down and get lovely and sweet. You might be thinking, hang on a second, where are the tomatoes? But the reality is you don't need tomatoes to make a great pizza, just lovely ingredients. So my chard and onions are looking lovely, they've all caramelized down. And now just to get more beer into this recipe, good slug of the Indian Pale Ale. And we just want to reduce that down, let it bubble away until it's lovely and syrupy, and then we'll finish it with the chard.
Chop the leaves into nice big chunks and toss them in. You can turn the heat off because they'll cook down in the hot pan.
It's such a privilege to be in this beautiful location, cooking with all this fresh produce. I mean, what could be better? Right, that's me done.
Thanks, Henry.
It's all right.
Right, dough's rested, and it's ready to be made into balls for the pizza. Look how it's doubled in size. Cut and roll your dough into cricket ball shapes. Now it just needs to rest again for a further 10 minutes. These just need to be covered up, make sure they don't dry out, little beauties. Henry?
Yep. We've got these beautiful borage flowers, and they've got a slight taste of cucumber. But they're so pretty, and they're going to look gorgeous on our pizza. Let's pick a few of them. Got to be quite dainty. That's why Tom doesn't do it.
Oh, great, they've risen nicely. Now I just need to make them into pizza bases. I tease them out between my fingers like this. And once it's flat, I can put it on the back of my knuckles and then throw them. It takes a bit of practice, but this method gives the best thin and crispy bases.
Now to add my chard and onion topping. Make sure it's cooled down or the dough will get really sticky.
So I've got some beautiful local Peaklands blue cheese. Pizza for me without cheese isn't really right. Just dot some on, look at that, lovely.
All right, now on with some figs. And as we all know, figs and blue cheese go together like, what, beer and pizza? How hot's the oven, Henry?
Yep, it's 300 degrees.
Brilliant.
Get it in there.
We're cooking our pizza on a baking stone in our outdoor oven. It'll be lovely and golden in just 8 to 12 minutes.
Then drizzle on some of the best of British, rapeseed oil and fresh local honey.
To top it all off, some beautiful flowers from the brewery garden, nasturtiums for a peppery punch, and those vibrant borage flowers.
That looks pretty stunning.
Is there any chance at all it could taste as good as it looks?
Well, if you don't cut it, we're never going to find out, are we? It holds its base. Now that is a sign of a good pizza.
Oh, wow.
That is so good.
Brewer's Garden pizza. The best of the garden and a little bit of the brewery. Beautiful.
Good job.
Oh, it's so great just to be out in the countryside.
Oh yeah.
Out and about, finding great food.
Yep. Meeting good people, making some delicious dishes, and all topped off with a big old feast.
So we've proved we've got the produce to make a pizza every bit as good as the Italians. But how do we measure up when it comes to chocolate making? A craft you'd normally associate with the Belgians or the Swiss. Dave Golubovs is a British artisan chocolatier who comes up with truly unusual flavours. We've tracked him down in a quintessentially British location, an old converted farmhouse right in the heart of the Peak District.
Hi guys. Hi Tom. Hi Henry.
Wow, what an occasion.
It's lovely, isn't it? If you
Beautiful.
follow me, I've got something magnificent to show you.
Oh, smells good.
Right then, guys, here we are.
And you made all of that?
Yeah, this is all handmade in the last day or two.
So what's this lovely looking
So
one
that's
here?
a tea and biscuit one. So it's got a tea flavoured caramel, and then it's got a little dark chocolate biscuits in the centre.
That one's nice.
English trifle. It's strawberry jelly flavoured, kind of like trifle, and then a custard flavoured ganache. I haven't had one of these for ages, actually.
All these soldiers look good. So
Yeah.
what's this one made
So
from?
it's a dark chocolate with a strawberry flavoured jacket.
Strawberry jacket. Oh, let's go now.
So how do you come up with all these flavours? They're very original.
Basically, I try and take inspiration from local ingredients, elderberries,
Yeah.
rowan berries. We've even used nettles in the chocolates before. Everything's handmade, everything's hand-dipped, everything's packed by hand, labelled by hand.
Yeah,
Would you call yourself the Peak District godfather of handmade chocolate?
Godfather, yeah, maybe.
So how hard can this artisan chocolate making really be?
I'm sure you've used a piping bag before. You're gonna squirt the ganache out, make them quite big, and then go up to a point.
Just the one?
Yeah, just the one. Brilliant stuff.
This gorgeous ganache is made from chocolate and cream, but that's just the filling. Now we get to dip it into the finest quality liquid chocolate. How lush is that?
So we've got some lovely things to sprinkle on your chocolates. We've got chili, vermicelli, splitters, and cocoa nibs.
Right, it's gonna go for a little bit of those cacao nibs because they're lovely. A bit of fire, gonna go for a bit of dried chili. Look at that, it's a nice little kick. But just because I can. Few 100,000 because they are good fun. Look at that.
Not bad, Henry, but I reckon I can do better with some white chocolate piping. Dave, what do you think?
Well, I think you've just demonstrated just how hard decorating chocolates can be.
All right, so you're saying I aren't quite up to scratch?
Not 100%, no.
Chocolate making champions, we're certainly not. Good job Dave's got a consolation prize. His special celebration of Bakewell.
Oh,
Lovely jam and almond.
yeah. I love it. Jam one side, almond the other.
Exactly.
Brilliant. A Bakewell bomb, isn't it? All the flavours there from the pudding. I'll have 2 dozen, please.
Next, we'll be using Dave's chocolate to make a dessert so rich it's fit for a feast.
That is pure indulgence.
We round up a rather unusual Peak District herd.
Yes, for them.
And put our own twist on 2 meaty dishes.
We're the fabulous Baker Brothers, and we're in Bakewell to search for Britain's best produce.
So far, we've discovered great British beer,
Sampled a gorgeous British pudding,
It's the best kept secret in Bakewell.
and now we've found some more hidden gems. Tucked away in a farmhouse confectionery, Dave's delicious chocolate.
A Bakewell bomb, isn't it?
we want to use Dave's Bakewell truffle to make a ridiculously rich dessert for our feast at the end of the week.
So we're setting up our field kitchen in Dave's stunning garden, where we'll whip up our pud using a hob and barbecue.
Now it's time for our Bakewell chocolate fondant, a delicious chocolatey pudding with right at the heart of it, the taste of Bakewell.
To kick off the pud, put 150 grams of dark chocolate, and 120 grams of butter into a glass bowl. Season with a pinch of salt to really bring out the flavour of the chocolate.
So I'm just really gently melting the butter and the chocolate over a bain-marie, which is basically simmering water which isn't touching the bottom. So it's just the steam that's melting that chocolate. And it's one of the most beautiful sights as the creamy white butter and that dark chocolate start melding together. Absolutely gorgeous.
While the chocolate melts, grease baking moulds with a bit of butter to stop the fondant sticking. Next, some cocoa powder.
Just go in with a tablespoon, and then what you want to do is just bang it around the edges, and it's going to stick to all the butter, and then just tap the excess into the next one. That's going to act as a seal, and it's going to make our fondant come out nice and easy. Right, they're done, perfect. And my chocolate and butter's melted. Let's just take that off, and we are good to go.
Thanks, Henry. Now to make the body of the pudding, let's go with the melted chocolate. We need 3 eggs and 150 grams of sugar. And give it a whisk. And we want to get this light and fluffy. Takes a bit of hard work. By whisking it really hard, we're getting lots of air into the mixture, which is going to make us a delicious and light and fluffy fondant. That gooey, oogy chocolate inside. This is it. Once it becomes light and airy, it's ready to be added into the chocolate. Really gently and slowly. We don't want to knock the air out of the egg. We've just whisked so hard to get it all in. Now we just need to add 100 grams of soft white flour. Again, fold it nice and gently. I have to say, this is looking really delicious. And it's ready to go into these moulds. I want a generous dollop in each one.
So I've got these truffles, and what we're going to do is just take one and then poke it inside.
We're using Dave's almond and jam-filled Bakewell bombs. But you could use any good chocolate you fancy.
And these need to be baked at 200 degrees. And they just need 10 minutes to bake, which is just long enough to make a pecan white cream, isn't it, Henry?
Absolutely. So this cream is totally delicious, and it really cuts through the richness of the fondant.
The surprise secret to this is cheese. I'm using a local crumbly kind called pecan white. Add a hint of vanilla essence, a heavy tablespoon of icing sugar, and some single cream. Then use the back of a spatula to mix it all together until it's lovely and smooth.
That's got a lovely kind of sourness and a savouriness from the cheese. It's really going to cut through that unctuous, chocolatey Bakewell fondant. Gorgeous. Ooh, look at them.
They're ready, aren't they?
Right, now time to dress our plate.
On with the cream.
And a few ribbons of raspberry jam. It's sieved to be nice and runny. Dust them with cocoa powder. Got some caramelised hazelnut nibs, which give it a lovely crunchy finish. I think you should go first, Henry.
Let me cut inside.
Is it
Look
going
at
to?
that.
Does it?
Beautiful bomb.
It's like a chocolate volcano, isn't it? All spilling out.
That is pure indulgence, though.
So, Derbyshire, eh? Amazing. You've had beer, chocolate, Bakewell pudding.
Oh, that Bakewell pudding is so good.
But
What a
wait
find.
till you see what I've got in store for you next.
Right, what have you got in
Now,
store?
what's the thing you love most in the world?
What, apart from you?
Yeah.
Beet.
We're on our way to a livestock farm a few miles outside Bakewell. But this is the kind of herd that's more common in Asia than Britain. They're water buffalo.
Water buffalo normally live in swampy, wet areas, but are more than happy on a British farm.
We've been invited to help round them up. Aren't they sweet? They look gorgeous.
If you notice, they don't moo, they grunt.
They grunt like little pigs. Lisa Melland and her family have been farming in the Peak District for 5 generations. Lisa's great-grandfather originally set up a dairy farm here in 1938.
So what made you choose buffalo?
We basically had to diversify from being dairy farmers.
Yeah.
We were losing money with the price of milk.
Yeah.
Pen on paper, it looked really good. The health benefits of the meat.
Yeah.
What's that then?
And basically, the buffalo meat's got half the fat of beef.
Really?
Wow, so it's really good for you.
Really good. And there's been organic down here as well.
Yeah.
The real array of wild flowers, herbs. So the flavour that actually gets into the meat is second to none.
Lisa isn't the only Brit to get wise to the benefit of buffalo. There are now around 10 farms across the UK rearing them for their meat, and also for their milk to make cheese, yoghurt, and even ice cream.
Lisa has around 450 head of buffalo, although today we're herding the young'uns. It's not as easy as it seems.
That is my excellent herding skills, I think you'll find.
Henry, you let them through, you muppet. Yes, 4 of them. Well done. Quick, 4's better than nothing, isn't it?
Enough fun and games. Our feast at the historic Chatsworth House is fast approaching, so it's time to get cooking. We're both going to create a separate buffalo dish.
And Lisa and the guests can vote for the winner.
Tom's got no chance. I'm going to whip up a super quick buffalo salad. And to pay homage to the roots of these beautiful beasts, I'm giving it a spicy Southeast Asian style twist.
Buffalo and noodle salad. It's so easy, it's delicious, it's healthy. Let's get going. So I got myself a beautiful buffalo sirloin steak. So I'm just gonna make a really quick little marinade for this. I've got some fish sauce, I've got some dark sugar, just a sprinkle of that. That just adds that kind of sweet and sour note. And then a bit of lime zest. That's gonna add a nice bit of freshness. That should be lovely. Bit of black pepper. And this is really easy, just get it going. And then just a little bit of rapeseed oil. And then all we wanna do is just using our fingers, is just pat it all over, rub it over, twist it and turn it. And that just soaks into the meat and it's just gonna give that buffalo a real hit of flavour. So I've got myself a hot griddle pan. I'm just gonna go straight onto there. That's the sound you want that sizzle.
Cooking on a griddle pan like this is great. It gives your meat those lovely grow lines.
Now while that's cooking, that's gonna take maybe 2 to 3 minutes either side. We're gonna make a really quick dressing. I've got myself a pestle and mortar and a bit of garlic. We just wanna bash that up. Just start releasing some of those oils and break it down.
Next, roughly chop a tomato to make the dressing nice and juicy. Now to add those Southeast Asian flavors. Some fish sauce, a teaspoon of sugar, and the juice of 2 limes.
Biodegradable.
And finally, some sesame oil.
Oh yeah, that's good. It's about balancing. It's kind of sweet, salty, a little bit of acidity coming through. So my buffalo's on. Got lovely caramelization both sides. And just by prodding it, it's not bouncing back too quickly. So that means it's still nice and pink.
You've really got to rest the meat for at least 5 minutes. That'll let it relax and get juicy. Now for the salad. I've got some rice noodles that I cooked for 4 minutes and then chilled in some cold water. I'm going to add a bit of fire with a chili, good crunch and colour with a carrot, and some cucumber. But make sure you get rid of those soggy seeds with the front of a spoon so your salad stays lovely and crunchy.
Now, it doesn't really matter what vegetables you use. It's just about getting some nice textures, some nice colours, and making a really pretty, beautiful salad. So we just build that in. So our salad is coming together. So I've got some nice fresh herbs. So I've got some coriander and a little bit of mint. So starting with the stalks, chop through pretty finely because there's loads of flavour in the stalk and you can still eat it. And then once you get up to the leaves, just do a couple of cuts because we don't want to damage these beautiful herbs. Keep them nice and vibrant.
Chuck the stalks into the salad, but set aside the leaves. Now for the zingy dressing and some crisp, fresh bean sprouts.
Look at all those gorgeous colours. It's my buffalo. It's well rested. So what we need to do now is carve it on the angle. Look at that. It's beautiful pink in the middle. Absolutely perfect.
Top it all off with another drizzle of dressing and those mint and coriander leaves.
Let's try some of this. This looks stunning.
Hey, we're supposed to do that together.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's amazing. The depth of the flavour, the width of the flavour. This is sunshine on a plate. This is unbelievably good.
It is good, but it's not the only thing you can do with buffalo, is it?
What are you making?
I'm making a cobbler.
Oh, cobbler.
All right, enough of that. You clear down. It's my turn to cook.
Next, we gather together the friends we've made this week to feast on the 5 tasty dishes we've created.
Absolutely fantastic.
and we go head to head in a brotherly battle over the best buffalo recipe.
We just want to know from you, which
anyway.
one do you think's the best?
We're on a quest to find the very best British produce that Bakewell and the Peak District has to offer.
To celebrate our adventure, we'll be throwing a feast for all our foodie friends we've made. Dinner's served here at Chatsworth House.
We've also got a bit of brotherly rivalry going on. Henry and I are both cooking buffalo and letting our guests judge whose dish is the best.
I've gone for fast and fabulous with a super quick buffalo noodle salad.
It is good, but it's not the only thing you can do with buffalo, is it?
And I'm gonna wind things down with a luscious, slow-cooked stew, my very own buffalo cobbler.
A cobbler's a stew that's topped with beautiful dumplings that, when it's finished, it looks like a old-fashioned cobbled street.
To kick off the cobbler, I'm seasoning some buffalo steak and browning it off in a heavy bottom pan on our outdoor hob.
It's a mixture of chuck and shin. They're muscles that have done a lot of work, so they're quite tough, but they're full of flavour. Just give that a couple of minutes until it's nice and brown all over, which it is now. Pop these into a bowl. And now in with carrot, celery and onion. It's just going to cook in that oil, but now there's meat juices and delicious buffalo fat in there that's come out. Classically, all great stews have 3 main vegetables in them: carrot, onion and celery. And this is going to be one of them. Soften those up a bit. In with a couple of generous sprigs of thyme and 2 bay leaves. They just bring extra flavour, kind of earthy note, and really join all the flavours together. I'm going to add in some pearl barley. Now this grows all around here, and just going to add texture and real interest to the stew. Okay, now back in with the buffalo. Look at all those delicious juices. Oh, yummy meatiness. Now it wouldn't be a stew without liquid, and I've got both stock and stout. So this is beef stock, about 400 ml. Got some delicious local stout. It's going to add a real depth of flavour. Oh, that's just as good as Remember. Now here's a tip for if you're cooking with stout. You don't want to bring it up to the boil, you just want to simmer it slowly, or otherwise it becomes acidic. Right. Just going to pop on the lid and give that an hour. The ingredients to simmer away and reach their full, tasty, delicious potential, which gives me just enough time to write some poetry. Wandered lonely as a buffalo. Buffalo gruffalo. Buffalo gruffalo. Wandered lonely as a... Nope. No, that's not working. I'm not going to give up my day job. It's had an hour. Now for the dumplings. It begins with 250 grams of self-raising flour and 75 grams of diced butter. And using the tips of my fingers, I'm just crumbling them together until I've got fine breadcrumb consistency.
Now add a big pinch of salt to bring out the flavour, a teaspoon of English mustard powder to put some kick in your dumplings, and then chopped chives for colour.
Don't want anyone to accuse my dumplings of being boring. Twist of black pepper. Give that a little mix.
That's the dry dumpling mixture. Now it needs liquid to come alive. Instead of water, I'm using the milky stuff from a pack of buffalo mozzarella.
Right, now that's all come together in a ball. We're ready to make the dumplings. And this will make about 8, I reckon. And each one only needs to be about the size of a ping pong ball. Like that. Just plop it in. And finally, to really finish this buffalo cobbler off, buffalo mozzarella. So I've got a big ball of this. Just going to crumble it on. And that's going to melt into the stew and be wonderfully stringy and delicious and a real celebration of everything buffalo. Give it 20 minutes so the dumplings can soak up all that delicious gravy, and it'll be done.
Brown the mozzarella under a hot grill. Or if you're cooking outside like us, get out your blowtorch.
Well, we just need to taste it. Henry,
Yep.
fancy tasting the winner?
Well, I'll definitely try it. I'm not sure about this winner, Larky.
Buffalo cobbler.
Buffalo cobbler.
You've got buffalo mozzarella, you've got the mustardy cobbles, and then some buffalo stewed meat.
Nice tender buffalo. Cobbles are lovely and a nice touch with the cheese. No, not bad, Tom, not bad.
Not bad, I'll take that as a compliment. This is slow, it's beautiful, it's all embracing. It's like big, generous hug, whereas your steak's like quick peck and run.
Well, the winning dish isn't down to us, Tom. It's up to our friends at the feast. It's time to gather together all our fabulous food producers we've met this week, along with their families, to eat right here in the shadow of the stately Chatsworth House.
Hey, guys.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah,
You're right.
take a
Good to see
seat.
ya.
First up, we're serving our Brewer's Garden pizza with its boozy, crispy base.
You've got some figs, blue cheese, honey.
Got for you some guinea fowl pastia. They're lovely and crispy.
Next, our awesome Bakewell chocolate fondant.
Then, of course, our two competition dishes.
And then the perfect thing for a day like today outside, I've got a buffalo and noodle salad. It's got a little Asian dressing, nice crunchy veg, delicious.
And for the main course, a buffalo cobbler. There you go.
That's my thing.
And we've had a great week in Bakewell. What a tasty place. Who's hungry?
Yeah. So help yourself. Go on, pass it around.
Pretty big, aren't they?
Rob, so we used your beer to make our pizza base. What do you think?
Absolutely fantastic. You can really taste the hops in the bread. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, it's one thing to drink beer, now you're eating it.
Absolutely.
Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for having us and showing us the wonderful produce of Bakewell. But actually, we need you for one final thing. Tom and I have both created a dish each, and we need you guys to help us settle the score. So I made the buffalo and noodle salad, perfect thing for a hot summer's day, for a picnic outdoors. It's fresh, lovely, beautiful meat that really sings with a nice little dressing.
I'd like to give you my buffalo cobbler. You've got a beautiful stew where the meat's at its very best as it kind of becomes soft and delicious and all the flavours come out with those cobbles on top made with the mozzarella milk inside. And really, we just want to know from you, which
anyway.
one do you think's the best?
So basically, what we need to do, on the count of 3, if you like Tom's cobbles, put your fork in the air, and if you like my salad, put your knife in the air. Okay, guys, you ready? 3, 2, 1, vote!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Victory is mine.
Did you vote for me?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. I love your beer.
Calm down, Tom. The real glory belongs to Bakewell and the Peak District. Their stunning scenery, and gorgeous local food. All in all, a delicious bite of Britain.
So, Bakewell,
Oh my goodness, I mean, the place is absolutely stunning.
it's got to be the most beautiful place we've visited, don't you think?
Absolutely. Do you know what? We might have peaked too early.
Oh, all it's done is piqued my interest to see, is there anywhere better that has this much beauty, this much great produce? Only really one way to find out, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Let's eat this and back in the van.
Now leave the dish to simmer on low heat for 30 minutes, which gives me just enough time for a power nap.
Well, my little brother has a rest, bless his heart. Thought I'd share a tip with you about pomegranates.
Pomegranate seeds will be the crowning glory of our dish, but there's a knack to getting them out.
You want to whack it with a spoon or a cricket bat or whatever you can find, and that loosens up the seeds inside. You've cut it in half. Love that, how beautiful they look. Now I've loosened all the seeds with all that whacking, and they'll just ping out. Super, super easy. Beautiful, beautiful pomegranate seeds. Like little ruby jewels. It's gonna garnish our pie. Don't want any of the white pith in there, because that tastes bitter and disgusting. Right, we're ready.
After the 30 minutes are up, allow the dish to cool. Then pick that beautifully tender meat off the bone. It should just fall away. While you're doing that, get your sauce back on the hob and reduce by a quarter. Now to infuse our dish with the taste of Bakewell. It's time for those ground almonds.
So I'm just going to go 5 tablespoons, and that's just going to give it a lovely nuttiness and also help thicken up the sauce.
So what you're getting on the nose is lots of citrus, some honey.
Well, that's really,
Really fresh, zingy. Just makes you want to have another one, which is, the skill of a brewer.
And another one.
Those hops have worked their magic, but it doesn't stop there. Creative British brewers like Rob also use weird and wonderful ingredients to come up with new and exciting flavours.
Now we're going to taste some of our more esoteric beers.
Okay.
See if you can recognise some of the flavours in here.
It's like a good gravy.
It's really nutty smell.
Yeah,
really
yeah,
nutty.
Nuts, that's good.
Honey.
Honey, that's good. Because, well, the main thing, this is another big beer that we fermented, and at the end of fermentation, we had chestnut honey from Italy. But this honey is really distinctive. And what it is it's the bees have fed on the chestnut flowers, and they really imparts this chestnut flavour into the honey, and then into the beer. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Lovely, I like this.
See if you can recognise some of the flavours in here.
Goodness, it's dark as treacle.
That's got some of those dark malts.
The dark malts we looked at, yeah.
Oh, it's like Ribena. Smells like kind of blackcurrants.
Smells fruity, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're getting warm.
Getting warm, right. Oh, that's sweet, isn't it? It's kind of like berries.
There's my sweetness
And
there.
is it molasses?
You could describe it as molasses, yeah.
Well, like pomegranate molasses or something.
Okay, what we've got is raspberries, actually.
Yes.
Oh, raspberries, yeah.
Of course.
So we brewed that beer with all those dark malts, lots of body, lots of sweetness. It's 10%. And then once it's brewed, we put it into the fermenter. At the end of fermentation, when it's all subsided, we've added 50 kilos of Scottish raspberries.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
This looks ominous.
This has come straight from the tank. We haven't actually produced this yet. Okay.
It smells like kind of peanuts.
Bang on, yeah.
Is it?
This is a peanut butter brown ale that we've made.
Did you get that? I got that bang on right. Peanut butter. Oh, that's so good, isn't it?
Yeah.
That takes me back to my childhood. That with a dollop of jam inside. Bingo. That's delicious, thank you.
These are Thornbridge Brewery Jaipur IPA.
Really?
We made pizzas with those. So you can make
Excellent,
chocolates with
brilliant.
them
Yeah.
too.
Beer chocolate.
Yeah. So it should have a nice hoppy flavour to it.
Yeah.
Quite subtle.
That's delicious.
That's very clever.
I love the crunch on the outside.
Very clever. Very lovely.
Yeah, they're just basically I make the ganache quite soft and then they're plunged into chocolate and then rolled in sugar after.
What else do you recommend? Should we just dive in?
Yeah, go for it. That's homemade fudge dipped in chocolate.
So what's this lovely looking
So
one
that's
here?
a tea and biscuit one. So it's got a tea flavoured caramel and then it's got little dark chocolate biscuits in the centre.
That one's nice.
English trifle. So strawberry jelly flavoured, kind of like trifle and then a custard flavoured ganache. That's strawberry daiquiri, that one.
Cheers.
Yeah, that has got a bit of
Go
alcohol.
on, you have one. It's rude to drink, Conor, eh? Yeah, there you go. Cheers.
Oh, it's lovely and moosey inside, isn't it?
I haven't had one of these for ages, actually.
All these soldiers look good. So
Yeah.
what's this one made
So
from?
it's a dark chocolate with a strawberry flavoured jacket.
Strawberry jacket. Oh, that's going now.
So how do you come up with all these flavours? They're very original.
Basically, I try and take inspiration from local ingredients, elderberries,
Yeah.
rowan berries. We've even used nettles in the chocolates before. Everything's handmade, everything's hand-dipped,
Yeah.
everything's packed by hand, labelled by hand.
Do you think this is something we're going to see more and more people getting into?
About 3 years ago, I decided to take the plunge and invite groups of people up here. And they do a short course where
brilliant.
I go through the history of chocolate, how chocolate's made,
great.
tasting. It's been quite successful, you know, in those 3 years. I've had 3 people set up their own business.
Brilliant. So it's kind of networking out.
Yeah.
Amazing.
One of them last year, she won a gold at the Great Taste Awards.
To kick off the pud, put 150 grams of dark chocolate and 120 grams of butter into a glass bowl. Season with a pinch of salt to really bring out the flavour of the chocolate.
So I'm just really gently melting the butter and the chocolate over a bain-marie, which is basically simmering water which isn't touching the bottoms. It's just the steam that's melting that chocolate. And it's one of the most beautiful sights as the creamy white butter and that dark chocolate start melding together. It's absolutely gorgeous.
While the chocolate melts, grease baking moulds with a bit of butter to stop the fondant sticking. Next, some cocoa powder.
Just go in with a tablespoon, and then what you want to do is just bang it around the edges, and it's going to stick to all the butter, and then just tap the excess into the next one. That's going to act as a seal, and it's going to make our fondant come out nice and easy. Right, they're done, perfect. And my chocolate and butter's melted. Let's just take that off, and we are good to go.
Thanks, Henry. Now to make the body of the pudding, let's go with the melted chocolate. We need 3 eggs and 150 grams of sugar. And give it a whisk. And we want to get this light and fluffy. Takes a bit of hard work. By whisking it really hard, we're getting lots of air into the mixture, which is going to make us a delicious and light and fluffy fondant. That gooey, oogy chocolate inside. This is it. Once it becomes light and airy, it's ready to be added into the chocolate. Really gently and slowly. We don't want to knock the air out of the egg. We've just whisked so hard to get it all in.
Now we just need to add 100 grams of soft white flour. Again, fold it nice and gently.
I have to say, this is looking really delicious. And it's ready to go into these moulds. I want a generous dollop in each one.
So I've got these truffles. I kept them in the freezer because it's so flipping hot out here. And what we're going to do is just take one and then poke it inside.
We're using Dave's almond and jam-filled Bakewell bombs. But you could use any good chocolate you fancy.
And these need to be baked at 200 degrees. And they just need 10 minutes to bake, which is just long enough to make a pecan white cream, isn't it, Henry?
Absolutely. So this cream is totally delicious, and it really cuts through the richness of the fondant. And the secret ingredient, cheese. So I've got this beautiful pecan white, which is a local cheese, and it's got a lovely tang. It's a little similar to a Lancashire. Well, all I'm going to do is just bring it out with some flavours. So just a hint of vanilla and a heavy tablespoon of icing sugar. It blows away in the wind. And then just using the back of a spatula, we just want to cream this together to get it lovely and smooth. Now, this cheese has got a lovely tang to it. It's not too mature. So think of it a bit like kind of cheesecake, you know, the way that that works with sweet things. And then from my rather obedient cow here, I'm just going to almost milk, but out of its mouth, some single cream. Just go in there for a little bit. Lovely. And what we're looking for is a consistency of double cream. And that is going to be absolutely perfect. Time for a little taste. That's got a lovely kind of sourness and a savouriness from the cheese. It's really going to cut through that unctuous, chocolatey Bakewell fondant. Gorgeous. Oh, look at them.
They're ready, aren't they?
They're beautiful.
Really gently need to lift these out. And just let them rest for 2 minutes, just so they can set.
Right, now time to dress our plate. Just go on with this lovely sauce.
That's great. You happy with that?
Yeah, really happy.
Right, now I've got some raspberry jam. Just gonna do couple of lines of jam on here. And then I'm going to feather it. It's a nice little pattern that I do in the bakery on my Bakewell slice. Right, they've had about 2-minute rest. Time to tip them out really gently. Dust them with cocoa powder. Got some caramelized hazelnut nibs, which give it a lovely crunchy finish. I think you should go first, Henry.
Let me cut inside.
Is it
Look
going
at
to?
that.
Does it?
Beautiful
Yeah.
bomb.
It's like a chocolate volcano, isn't it? All spilling out.
That is pure indulgence, look.